Hey, how are you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Fridays Are for Friends. I'm here with an amazing singer and songwriter, Andrew Weaver. Please tell us a little bit about your newest release.
Hey man, Khallil, thank you so much for having me. So, the new release is going to be, tell me I'm wrong, is going to be on the project, but the idea, the brainchild so far has been that it's going to be called Contrary to Popular Belief, which is going to be a 4 or 5 piece EP. And it's going to be a bunch of short songs that kind of flow into each other simultaneously. And that's kind of the idea right now. It's still a work in progress. It still doesn't have an official release date, but hopefully before the end of the year, it's kind of where we're looking at with it.
Oh yeah, man, I'm mad excited for everyone to hear it because it sounds amazing. Trust us,
Thank
it'll
you,
be
man.
worth the wait. And I know you recently graduated in August. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course. How did you balance school, social life, and music?
Wow, that's a great question, man. You know, it wasn't easy balancing school and balancing music. It felt, especially because I, I I wasn't around music in school. I studied business. I did marketing, which is definitely a part of the image of an artist, but it's kind of hard, after being in class every day to go back to my dorm and like feel hungry about it. So in that sense, I think graduating has been a blessing. It's freed up a lot of time for me. I'm not worried about a lockdown browser quiz kind of, you know, in the back of my mind when I'm ready to work on music. I think it's important to go into the process of creating with no, blockers or barriers in the way. So post grad has been great, and during college, I mean, did you go to college?
Yeah,
So the social life is definitely there. The social life was there
for
for
sure.
sure. Um, but I didn't make as much music as I wanted to, I will say. But looking forward, I'm excited for what's to come. So
Yeah, man, I'm excited for you. And what has helped you the most as an artist?
I think it's important to cater to your inner artist as an artist. I don't think people talk about that as much. I think creating it's important to feel comfortable not only with yourself but in the environment you're in. And I think part of that goes back to unlocking your inner artist. I've been reading this book called The Artist's Way. Couldn't tell you the author off the top of my head, but it talks about, taking yourself on an artist date. Take yourself to a coffee shop, you know, wear the AirPods, play your favorite songs, feel inspired, put yourself into an environment to make the best art you can. I think is so important. Like go get takeout and listen to an album in your car. Like I think that's really simple to um, share. I feel like a lot of people feel like being an artist is this go 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 um, mentality, but it's important to take a step back and cater and remember why you started it in the first place. Like fall in love with the art as a listener, and I think it'll take you a long way.
Yeah, The Artist's Way, that's such a great book. I actually still have it above my bed. And I need to honestly read it again and do all of the daily things it tells you to do. I know it was telling you like to journal, right?
Yeah, so
Like
many
daily wake up.
mantras
Yeah.
and yeah,
Wake
yeah.
up and like write three things like 3 pages or
Oh yeah, just
something a
brain
day.
dumping. Dude, that's
Exactly.
so important. It's like, I mean, as an artist, I feel like that should be part of the routine. And I feel like I don't do that enough. Like, so I'm there with you.
For sure. And what has been like the biggest lesson you've learned since pursuing this dream and making it into reality?
I think it's important to have your ducks in a row while sharpening your tools as an all-around creative. I feel like I've had a lot of um, different scenarios I've been in thus far when I was younger, when I was still kind of learning the ropes of production. I was learning what an engineer was. I um, it's important to, as a creative, I want to be like a Swiss Army knife. I want to be able to hop and wear my producer hat. I want to be able to, if somebody's like, hey, I need an engineer, like I want to hop in and be an engineer. I think it's important to be a jack of all trades in this day of being a creative. And another really important lesson is the power of teamwork as well. I think collaboration, just a new perspective in general, is really important for the sake of the art. We get in our heads so much as artists, and it feels like, the world revolves around this. And so it's important to have a friend in this industry and life in general. Like, have somebody who your interests line up, and you can bounce ideas off of them, because that's so important. Just, for the production and making the dream more real. I feel like when you get out of your head and start bouncing ideas off with other people, it's just manifestation, isn't it? It's like, the more you talk about it, the more you're going to work on it, and then it's going to get released. So I'd say dream work is made up by the teamwork. I said that backwards, but teamwork makes the dream work.
But it's so true. It's so true. And besides like other collaborations, what inspires your songwriting?
That's great. A lot of my songs recently, I've been not reading as much poetry, but I've been writing poetry. That was one of like the earliest forms, like in like 5th grade, that I really gravitated towards. Was, we'd had different assignments, and it would be to write poetry. And I'm trying to kind of, like I said, get back to like why I started. And I'm finding that these poems may not ever be songs. They may not ever see the light of day. But I think it's, however you get inspired, I think if it's through poetry and that keeps the inspiration flowing, then that's one way to go about it. I'm inspired by everything in life. I feel like I'm like a hopeless romantic in all aspects. Like, I'm inspired by the sunrise. I'll be inspired by an old couple in a park. I'll be inspired. Traveling, man, is a big one for me. Getting out, seeing new places, different walks of life. In general, it can feel like your city or your town is like, that's the world. But it's important to, just realize that we're all on this floating rock. Like, it's global. Inspiration's everywhere. You just go outside.
For sure. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And speaking about like, getting inspired for and to write certain songs, is there a particular song you've written that's like holds a special place in your heart?
For sure. There's a couple, but the first one that comes to mind isn't out yet. It's gonna hey, plug. It might be on the EP that's coming out, but it's called A Reminder. And I think it's important because, yes, it's a breakup song, but it's like a happy breakup ballad / anthem, in a sense, that, hey, this is a reminder that post everything, there's still somebody out there for you. Just keep swimming. You'll figure it out. We all figure it out. We're all on our, journey to being in love. And it's just a reminder that there's somebody out there for you. I think it's simple as that.
For sure.
I feel like I'm trying to avoid negativity in talking about breakups. So, a happy breakup song, it's kind of what I'm after.
Awesome. And do you remember the first time you wrote a song?
I do. I was thinking about that recently, and it's kind of foggy, but my grandpa actually reminded me of it. Shout out, Papa. Like,
Shout out you, Papa.
It had to have been 6 or 7 months back, and I didn't even realize that it was the first song that I had written, but I had to be about 10 or 11, and it was when I had first picked up the guitar, maybe 2 chords in it, but I wrote this song, and it wasn't serious at all, but it was the fact that I just, started this process. It was called the Squirrel Song.
The Squirrel Song.
As a 10-year-old,
yeah.
I mean, what am I going to write about?
Yeah,
A squirrel. I can't tell you much about it besides the title, but he did remind me of the title, and I was like, that definitely does exist.
That's hilarious.
I think post that, there was definitely like an era when I was like 11 or 12, like I was really trying to tap into like this country guy thing. But I had a song called like Highway 41 or something, like, classic, like Cars, like Rascal Flatts.
For sure.
Type beat.
Yeah. And you also do like a lot of performances. How do you adapt your song to these live performances?
I do. I try to stay active. I recently started a band this year. We're called Zoo. We'll be taking over Atlanta in the next couple of years. Adaptation is really important. I think you have to be loose and you have to be flexible, and it's a lot of trial and error. And it's a lot of rehearsal time. When I toured before when I was younger, with my earlier discography, a lot of it was acoustic guitar and trap beats over it. So that was like, okay, we'll sort it out. DJ, boom, and then I'll play guitar along with it. And that felt like the right thing to do then, but as I'm getting older, I'm kind of falling in love with this idea of like super live, this Dijon, like McGee loose, like let's not play to tracks. Like let's make this thing live have a life of its own. And so I think it's important to just experiment. Like don't limit yourself to a recording. Like if I'm gonna I don't even listen to the songs I'm rehearsing before I get in there, and with time comes experience, and I think the looser you are as musicians, I think the product's better as far as a live performance. Just remove the box, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. And the last thing we always have our guests do is plug yourself. So if you want to look into that camera and tell them where they can find you, your newest releases and all that.
Okay, sweet. Hi, my name's Andrew Weaver. I'm part of a band called Zoo, but I'm also a solo artist, part frontman. And you can find me on Instagram at Andrew M. Weaver. You can find me on Facebook at Andrew Weaver Music, and you can find me on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, whatever floats your boat streaming, at Andrew Weaver. And keep an eye out for Zoo, because 2025, a project's coming. So
they're coming. Well, thank you so much for joining the show and just talking about your music. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, dude. It's been a pleasure hanging with you today.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
The rest.
Well, thank y'all so much for, tuning in to another episode of Fridays Are for Friends. Peace.
I'm Andrew Weaver. Thank you so much for tuning in to Fridays Are for Friends.